gigabytes flowing through here right now because I think I got this thing set on 4K. So let me say, my name is Revolution McKinnis. This is the big interview on Haps TV. And while I'm stalling and talking slowly, I kind of look, I think I look, it's a little choppy, but we'll see what happens. So tonight, wow, I am so excited to announce who we have with us. And Alix, Angelis, you know, I don't I try not to fanboy, and I was in LA not that long ago, and I mean, I got to meet some incredibly cool, people that some of you would know, and I'm just like, I lived in New York, so I know how to behave in public. But when I'm on this show, like, oh man, I got to just kind of be stupid a little and then, get it all out. So Alix is an amazing screenwriter, director, an actor, and just a really great person who I just totally adore her work and what she's doing and what she stands for. So we're going to bring her out in just a second. And that is very exciting. Before we do that, I just want to let all of you know that you can do this on Haps yourself. Just go to my profile, and you don't even need an invite, do you? Just go to Haps TV and sign up. Now, here's what I'm going to try and do is if you sponsor me for $25 a month for 3 months in a row, you gotta make all 3 of those payments, then I'm gonna send you these right here, and these are, I know they got a funny name. I made a video for this, by the way. I didn't finish it today. Ear Fun. Ear Fun. Yeah, really. I mean, I love in China when they name things and they're like, "Oh, ear fun. That sounds very American." And I mean, they are fun for your ears, apparently. But these things are wireless charge, they are Bluetooth 5.0, and they have what I need them to have, which is aptX low latency, which means I don't get a delay through my Bluetooth. And you wouldn't get a delay if you had it on your TV. But if you're into live streaming, this would be a cool thing to have. So there we go. Let's throw that aside and let's bring out Alix. Angelis, how are you, Alix?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks,
Oh,
Revolution.
thank you. Fantastic. Hey, Saki is coming from Japan and she is on Haps and she talks about Japanese culture. And you know what, Saki, you should probably round up all of your filmmaker friends who invest in movies and I'll come do behind the scenes and you can fund. Oh wait, you don't do that? Okay, I'm just waiting. I know there's a producer out there that's going to give us some money for the next movie. So, all right, what's been going on with you, Alix? It's last time you were here was maybe like 5 months ago, and we had you on twice for the film fest, and then we kind of devoted two shows to you. We did the cleansing hour, and we did your short that you wrote and directed from your childhood and everything. And I'm embarrassed that I can't remember the name of it.
Seancing. It's a weird name.
Dancing. No, that's a good one. So yeah, so what have you been up to? William Cullen, good to see you. I know who you are.
um, yeah, I mean, I've been uh things have been slowly rolling out. Things that I filmed before the pandemic and things that I filmed during the pandemic. And so lately, between when we last saw each other, some things have, premiered, which is fun. Um, One of the things being a short film that John Huertas of This Is Us fame directed
Mhm.
and wrote, and that was really fun. We shot that a while ago, but he sort of it was part of like an anthology of short films that he sort of like a thematic bundle. so
Okay.
it just now is on the festival circuit, and that's super exciting. And he's awesome to work with. So
Is that, can I ask, and obviously, this one's in the can, so you maybe can answer, but how did you and John Huertas, is that I say it right? Is that
Mhm.
how did you guys how'd you get connected with the film?
um, John is a friend. He's and he had
Known
this
him.
like, yeah, we've known for a while, and
Okay.
he, is a super talented actor of shows that I
Yeah.
love, and um, and he is like making the journey into directing, and he asked us to do this film, and I was like, absolutely, I would be honored. So, yeah,
Right. Right. I mean, you know what? I have this fear. It hasn't quite happened yet, but you just have to be careful when you tell a friend, like, "I'll, yeah, sure. You can be in my movie or whatever," you know what I mean? They're like, "Oh, shit. Do I know whether they can act or not? Oh my god." You know what I mean? Like that I'll say something to somebody and invite them in, but to have friends, that's such the core. Well, to have friends is a good thing, but to have friends in Hollywood and connections from film school on out, you know what I mean? It's fabulous to be friends and then get to work together. That to me sounds super exciting,
yeah,
to be
it's
able to
it's
do.
the best. I mean, who doesn't want to work with their friends?
Yeah,
Um,
and
and
yep.
and that's you already have a rapport because an awkward thing about being on a new set is you have to get to know everybody, um, like immediately, and then connect immediately, and
Right, right.
it's like you have to be really open because that's part of the gig. But with friends, you already have that,
Yeah,
so.
or sometimes, I guess if you're a big enough star, you can hide in your trailer all day, but
I guess, but that's not cool.
no, it's not fun. And you know what? With and I'll let you with the recent I don't want to say the recent issues around the behind the scenes folks and
With
union and all of
IATSE, yeah.
that. Yeah, it really it's just an amazing like thing to make a movie, right? I mean, I do, and oh, you know what would be awesome actually, um, if you could maybe pop in sometime because I know you're on Clubhouse, right? You're on Clubhouse.
I do go on Clubhouse.
A little bit? Yeah. So you
Yeah.
know how it
Mhm.
works anyway. But
Yep.
my friend Darian Donjou's got his 1 minute film school. Well, you met Darian. You know
Yeah.
Darian. Maybe we can get you to pop in on a Saturday and give some of these new filmmakers, some of your words of wisdom, which would be fantastic. And
Sure.
that idea of filmmaking as a craft, of filmmaking as a journey together, from Lord of the Rings where the credits go for like 70 minutes just by themselves to, a 1 minute film that well, back in the day when I did used to edit commercials, I'd be like, what am I doing today? Oh, commercial. How about just like an industrial film? Because I'll only have to make like maybe just a few cuts, easy transitions. It won't be hard, but you want me to make a commercial, then I'm going to have like 900 cuts, and it's going to have to look good and be tight and perfect. The shorter sometimes is really tough, but
Yeah.
you have to have a crew. You have to have a crew. You can't be like the lone wolf. Like maybe you can be the leader of the pack. I mean, you need a director, but man, you could not be a director without a crew, right?
Not at all. It wouldn't work. No. It's
And I know that's
really
obvious with being a director, but I mean, all of those people behind the scenes, because you can't see it all. Like, what was it like when you directed seancing? Like, you've directed some other shorts. Oh my God, some really great ones actually that I wish we could show on here tonight, and we'll
Thank
make
you.
sure we post them up. Oh yeah, what's the one with the mm, man? This is so terrible. I should be, I'm not a good host when I can't say the names
Marrying
of these things.
Amber?
Yes, 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 yes. You hit me, burying Amber. Like, oh, just the whole time I'm like, what is going to? Oh my God, what's going to happen? Oh my God, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And you carried it through the whole film, and that is just, it's just that's a talent. I mean, it takes a skill to do that. So anyway, directing. Tell me about directing your first feature.
I haven't
Dancing
done
was
that
a wait. Dancing was a short. Still, sorry.
yet.
But I'm
I
anticipating. I'm anticipating you directing
think
a feature and then
thank
me
you. I
going,
like
"Hey,
how we're
remember
in
me? Come
the
back."
variant universe where I have directed a feature.
Yes,
That's
yes,
cool.
yes. Where
Um,
you could have a twin too. It's weird.
yeah. I like to call her my variant now. Now
I
I've seen
like that.
Loki,
I
and
like that.
that's.
Oh, wait, before you answer the directing question, because I think I talked to Chris about this, but I'm not sure. But, my other half, the executive producer and I, we got into this thing a couple of weeks ago. It's like, which one is Alex and which one is Chris? And we're just like, because I'm like, shit, because there's this photo of you. in the blue dress there. Is
Oh
that
yeah,
you or is that Chris?
that's me.
Okay, because I thought that one was Chris for a while. This was early on, and I'm like, "Wait," I Googled it, I'm looking for pictures, like, "Oh, shit, that's Alex." Well, maybe they have it wrong. Anyway, hey,
it,
Pablo, great to see you, my friend.
it has happened before. Where some like an article will use a photo of Chris.
It's about you?
Yeah, it's about me. Or
That's hilarious.
or Chris will be credited for a movie that I was in.
Now that's not yeah, Chris well, wait, Chris was in the movie with John
Yes,
Curtis,
she
yes.
was.
Alright, well, we'll get to that in a minute. Let me get to the directing stuff. We love you, Chris, but, let's talk directing here, so
Yep. Um, yeah, you're totally right, that you absolutely like you can't make a movie without a crew. It's it's so obvious to me because I have experienced it, but people don't know what goes on behind the scenes. And it's just such a collaboration. I'm amazed by it every time that I'm on set. But as a director, it's just you are in contact with every department, and it's just you see all the inner workings and how like essential everyone is. Because uh, in my experience, y- as a director, you get asked a lot of questions. So I think there's like a general vision, of course, that you come to a project with as a director, but then there's this amazing magical um, thing that happens where all of the wonderful, talented people that you have gathered as your crew come to you with all their ideas, and they're amazing,
yeah.
and then you get to go, I love that. Well, that's interesting, but maybe more like this, and it's just like a lot of decision making from people's fertile brains that you have
Mhm,
collected together,
mhm, mhm.
and it's a wonderful garden.
Like somebody like a gaffer or somebody saying, "Hey, can we do the light?" I was thinking we could do the lighting this way, right? Let's light
Yeah,
this a little more high key. You know what I mean? Blah 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 blah, movie speak
yeah,
and that kind of thing.
and that kind of thing too. Like I I want to learn and continue to learn, but I am not so good with the technical stuff. I'm one of those people or directors that
Hi,
kind of
Peter.
needs to express what I want in emotional terms or like
Hmm hmm
tonal terms. And thank goodness I worked with amazing gaffers. And on Say Out Saying, it was Thomas Marchese, who was also the cinematographer, uh,
That's
who I
convenient,
could
actually.
just,
Guy that knows lighting and cinematography, which you
yeah,
should, but
yeah. But I was able to just explain how I wanted the scene to feel, and
mm,
he just
damn, yeah,
executed. Um,
translated.
yeah, and like so perfectly. I love working with him. It's kind of like we've I've had this experience with Chris also when we're at rehearsals when I'm her backup singer, and
Mhm.
we're trying to figure out a part for like the cello player for the show that we're gonna do, and she's the same way. She is like, I want it to feel like we're about to jump off a cliff, but maybe we're in love and it's gone wrong. And
Right. Which, hey, that sounds like a Chris Angelis song all day long.
yeah, and these amazing musicians who she has collected
Mhm.
like get it, and it's
Right.
not like you have to have it all written out at, on paper. Like these are the notes, and musicians who can read music and just like do it for the first
Mhm.
time
Mhm.
perfectly and like have perfect pitch and everything. They're amazing. But
Right.
you know, for people like us who speak in emotional codes, it's wonderful to have people that can speak our language. So yeah.
Well, and I know because I, you know, Googled you, and we've gotten to know each other a little bit too. But you have you're married, you have a husband. So sorry, folks, but you know, Ms. Angelis is taken. That's just the way that it is. And actually, we'll get back to directing, but you've known each other since grade school or camp, right?
Yeah, we did theater camp when I
Holy
was in
crap!
middle school and
That
he
is
was just a freshman in high school. So
well, there you go. All right. Well, maybe we'll dig into that at some point. But the idea of so, like, in the limited amount of, I used to direct a lot of live, videos, like, concerts and sports things and stuff like that. So you're in a truck or a booth or whatever, and it's just a rhythm and it's a flow because it's a multi-camera thing. But I've shot some one camera stuff back in the day, nothing significant or anything. But what I do know is that when you're in that groove, you know what I mean? When things are just flowing, a lot of that is pre-production. A lot of that is your director, having every tool available, from the people to the script to the shot sheet to the animatics that you had. It's so much about pre-prep. And I'm guessing that looks like you're agreeing with me.
oh my gosh. Yeah, 100%. My philosophy is if you're not ready, then don't torture everybody by going ahead too soon cuz yeah, there's so many moving pieces and as we know from all of the IOTC posts that are going on now, like a film day is a long day. It's hard. It's physical, it's draining, and you want it to feel like the time's not being wasted because that's just respectful to everybody involved. So that's my philosophy. I mean, that doesn't mean that there isn't room for, surprises and creativity and, maybe, oh, let's do this, let's get a take like that. But like as long as you have everything that you need, and like a good plan.
Yeah, it is. Hey, thanks, Stephen, for the high award, Peter for the high award as well, and everybody, if you're watching this on replay, look, Peter and Pablo, they're with Haps. They're great guys, amazing people, amazing organization. Stephen, William, and did I? Oh, well, Saki's in here, but Stephen and William both actually, I think, follow your sister quite a bit in music. So great to see you here. I know there's going to be a lot of people watching this on replay. So when we get the chance, um, uh, well, that's not Chris, John. It's not Chris. Are you just pretending there? The when you get the chance, type in like any place where you want people to find you, um,
Oh,
and in the little comment box there, and unclick it so people can find your website and stuff like that. So, but the idea of oh yeah, no worries, John. The idea of ooh, did that make that? Hold on my end. Doggone it, it didn't make it clickable. So I will do that one, and I don't know what's going on. So anyway, the idea of the craft of being a collaborative effort. Okay, so you're a director. So you were an actor first, and then obviously you've moved into screenwriting and directing. What is after you've directed, those films and you learned what directors do, what did that inform the actor, Alex Angelis? How did that inform you as an actor, do you think?
it's an interesting question because I feel like um, watching directors while I was acting informed my directing so much more. I feel like
Mhm.
I learned so much what in the projects that I've directed. Um, what was the question again?
I
How
know.
did
Well,
you phrase it?
I kind of asked it the opposite, that would be, with which is what you're thinking, right? Directors influenced your acting as you were an actor. But I'm kind of curious is as a director, and then you go on to a project like say with John
Oh,
Huertas, where you're an actor, how did being a director inform your acting? Does
oh yeah.
that make sense?
Um, okay, so I think
Could be a
being a
bad
director.
question.
No, no, it's not a bad question. It's a good question.
Okay.
So so what I learned as a director, I learned so much about myself, and how I uh cope with well, let's just say it, stress. Um
Right?
and and as an artist, uh I think everybody has their process and everybody has their buttons that get pushed, and it's a very vulnerable thing to like put yourself out there and make your art, especially as a director because you're the helm. It's like I have nobody to hide behind, and I think that it was such a good lesson, and went into when I was acting. I was like, well, I shouldn't hide behind anybody here either. um my opinions, my creativity, um and my ideas should be here in my role as well. I mean, of course that's always been uh the idea for acting. You bring yourself to your roles, um but I don't know, it's just different levels of growth that like make that concept land and like make it easier for me to take up that space and be that expressive, um and in the job that I've been given. So yeah.
Well, you and thank you. I someday I want to like hang out on a feature and maybe someday, work on a feature a little bit, you know what I mean? And probably gonna have to fund that myself. Nobody's gonna run out and let me do that. But just the again, the tools and the craft and everything I think is something I just really, really like looking at. I know you were pretty young when you got into entertainment and acting. And being so young and still, in your early 20s, the actors and actresses that you're working with that don't have as much experience as you do in acting, as you kind of, are maturing as an actor, is, what's that like? Like, kind of maybe being somebody on the set that's been around for a while and you've got new people. What's that like?
well, it's been sort of novel. I'm still getting used to it because yeah, I have been doing this for a while, but it felt like it took a long time to get to a level where I felt that I was, somebody that's I
I
know what
feel
I'm
you.
doing. I belong here. I
Right,
mean,
right.
that's a lot of
Like, don't go
battling.
don't look behind the curtain. Don't look at me. I'm not ready for you to right, but you've got that
Well,
moment,
it's a
that
lot
moment.
of battling like imposter syndrome and
Yes.
you know.
Oh, right. And I'm not gonna say, you know, you're neurotic because that wouldn't be nice, but you are an actor. So, I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah. So so I think this happened on the film that I did in Oklahoma, A Country Romance with Jonathan Bennett.
Oh,
It
yes. Yes.
was the man of the day yesterday, October 3rd. That was
I
funny.
saw that.
Because of Mean Girls. Anyway, um, yeah, there were a few people that, or a couple people that like asked for like my advice on, you know, inspirational encouragement for being in the industry, and I really took it seriously because it's not an easy road, and
Mhm,
my
mhm.
path has been, um I'm very fortunate, but it's like not as much or as fast as you want ever.
Sure.
Um, and that's kind of what I said. So, and I was just like, the longer you stay, the more people you're gonna know. And it's not just about like, oh, it's about who you know, but you're gonna find a tribe of
Mm,
creators
mhm.
who are gonna make it worthwhile to continue. And it's gonna be like your family, and you're not gonna feel so alone against the big bad industry.
Right.
Um, and I think that's what's happened, with the my longevity, what I've been how I've been around, and that's the
Yeah.
biggest best thing that I've learned, to just like collect those wonderful tribe members.
Yeah, the tribe, even in, I met somebody today that we're gonna have a blast, and she's a filmmaker, and I was introduced to her by a guy named Jim Jones, who was introduced to me by, David Newman, who's one of the co-founders of HAPS, and I get, it's just, it's about networking, yes, but it's about just being who you are, right? And making really genuine connections because yeah,
Yeah.
it's so much about that.
Otherwise, it's just exhausting. Networking is exhausting,
Mhm.
but
It is.
collaborating and connecting is enriching and fulfilling.
Yeah, it
Networking
is a
sucks.
beautiful way to get things done. Yeah, well, and I mean, we talked about my introverted extrovertism and my, and I'm a hell of a networker, but that doesn't make me good at networking. What makes me good at networking is when I slow down and make the connection solid and real, right? Because I mean, I've got tons of LinkedIn followers. Like, when did that guy hand me his business card? Because I have no idea who that guy is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, it definitely is something that feels that way. The Talk a little bit about, I'll talk about myself and just kind of anxiety and stress and imposter syndrome because you brought that up, and um did we bring that up before or once we started rolling? I can't remember. But
No, go ahead.
it was when we were rolling.
Yep.
The It's so like it's so difficult to just kind of go through life and try to be successful and deal with, imposter syndrome, you know what I mean? And um then on top of it, you're in a field where people kind of expect you to kind of know what you're doing, and you're like inside your head, you're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have any idea. Why do you think I do? And that's, it's got to be crazy when you're also trying to hit your mark and get the scene done.
Yeah. Well, especially I always have it the worst on the first day of a shoot. As an actor, I ugh, the first day of a shoot. So
Just
I
get it
am
over
so
with.
uncomfortable. Um, because I'm like, am I doing it? Am I being the character? Is it
Mhm.
happening? And then you ease into it, and you know, it becomes the second day is always great. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's like this. I mean, no wonder it's uncomfortable and feels like that. You're like putting yourself in someone else's skin, and
Mm.
I mean, even as a, a different position on the crew, everything is new. Every time you make a movie, you're reinventing the wheel. So
Mm.
it's there's going to be a learning curve, and it's but it feels wonderful when you get in the groove, and it's going and you're on that roller coaster. But yeah, imposter syndrome. I think deep down we we all face it, and it's just a matter of how we cope. Um, and I think the best thing that I've learned to do is to try to make other people feel comfortable.
Mm.
I,
Mhm.
um, because I've been so grateful when people have gone out of their way to make me feel that way.
Oh,
Um,
I can, yeah.
and then you take get yourself out of your head, and just put some good energy into the space. Uh, that is so helpful.
Yeah, I no, I 100% know what that's like just in other areas of life too and everything. I mean, just having somebody that'll step in, whether they can see you're about to fall apart or they've been there themselves. Oh, this is the place where they might fall apart. You know what I mean? Like to have somebody that knows what's going on and goes in there and kind of and does that is a beautiful thing, to be able to do for somebody. John Ardmore wants to know, Alex, what roles are you most proud of?
Oh, um, well, I guess I gotta say the cleansing hour was like just the I got to be so free and different and off the wall. Um,
Yeah. Doesn't
and
seem like your personality normally.
yeah,
Raving monster.
yeah, and I've just gotten such great feedback about that role. So it's easy to feel proud when you have a lot of praise.
No, but Steven's right. I mean, the cleansing hour, I mean, I look, it's got, it's got this arc that's very common right now with even live streaming, right? I mean, what I'm doing right here. So, and like it was fun. It was kind of scary. Oh my god, it was like different ways to kill people, amazing. And you got to be the girlfriend, right?
Yeah,
Kind of, you're a little I think your character overall is stronger than you might think, right? And I think that comes across too, that you're stronger, and I think that gives the strength during the problem, that when you turn into the raving monster, and I think you carry that through with you, and even in the fear when you're out of the monster character. But like that is so extreme, right? I mean, you've got all that makeup on, and
yeah.
now I want to ask you, the demon voices, is that somebody else or is that you, and they've done something to your voice, or is that just you? Like when you're kind of like, I'm going to kill you kind of voice, you know what I mean? Like, how did
Yeah,
they do that?
that's a mix of my performance and this very talented voice actress, Tara Karzian, who is the daughter of the voice actress that played Ursula in the Disney movie, uh,
Okay.
Little Mermaid. And she's like incredible. So, yeah, she gives that sort of more gravelly sound that
Puts
was
it in there.
inspired by like the nun, evil nun character.
Hmm.
It's supposed to be part of the torture of Father Max that it sounds like that character. Um,
Ah, okay. I like that. I like that. That's cool.
yeah,
That little
the director Damien Levesque really stressed that he didn't want me to be um, like putting on a voice as as the main focus. Like he wanted my performance to be about the thoughts that the demon was having and the just like interacting with um in the scene and also not hurting myself. But
but I get
so
that.
so
I
that was a
Yeah.
really great and liberating thing and gift that he gave me because I think eh, I was able to have a nuanced performance without having to worry about the sound. And he was like, we're gonna create it in post.
In
and
post, yeah.
and then Tara came in and she was
Well,
like awesome.
it's seamless. Like, there's no that's why I had to ask, like, did they enhance something,
Oh
or
yeah.
is it somebody else's voice or what? Because I'm like, because it's not I mean, it works. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that it's not you. I'm just like, I know, how did they do that? You know what I mean? Because like I
Yeah,
know my vocal range, and you could maybe do an amazing monster voice, but to sustain it, and I get what the director's thinking about there, even sustaining the character in that voice, delivering that voice, like that would be a lot. That would be a lot of effort. So I think that's a cool way to kind of do that. I really like that.
yeah, again, collaboration.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I mean, everybody, out there, nothing you see or hear in a movie actually happened the way that they want you to think it did. You know what I mean? From Foley artists to, vocal artists to everything. It's none of it. I mean, you got to remember on the other side of it, I want to spoil it for you folks, but there's a lot of people that are making that one image, that one frame, and that one moment, happen. So, um,
Yeah,
in terms of your career, though, the thing is, like, I have kind of stumbled into, drunkenly stumbled into, maybe I don't drink, but this world of professional working Hollywood folks, right? So I you know, you're not, I don't know, shit, Meg Ryan or something. I mean, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, not everybody knows who you are,
true.
but you
Very true.
work. You work and you get paid. Yeah, very true. She's like, especially Meg Ryan. Really, Revolution? No, I'm just kidding. Meg Ryan's awesome. But
She's
the,
great.
she is. No, I know. I know. I'm just kidding here. But like, just getting to where you've gotten is fucking cool. You know what I mean? Like, you make feature freaking films and they put money in your bank account. That's pretty cool. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, it's the
even
best job.
now, yes, no shit, it's gotta be. I got a really hell of a great job because I get to talk to you. But but I love this because I'm so enamored by the mystique and everything of Hollywood as everybody is. And I went to film school and it's fun being around it. And I was out in Hollywood recently and all this stuff. But I got my first script to read. Like, and I know that they will send a script to my grandma who's been dead for 5 years if they think she'll invest. So it's not that big of a deal, but it is a big deal for me because it means I'm in there enough now that somebody would think that I might be able to get their film made. Ain't gonna happen, but they would at least think of me. I thought that was sweet. So,
Welcome.
yes, yes, I'm not gonna name it because hopefully I will get it produced and, there we go. But
Yeah.
anyway, but yeah, yes, thank you. It's just a lot of fun. It is a great job and you are incredibly successful because you're working pretty much every day, you know what I mean? In that, this is your thing. And I have a lots of friends that I've become lots of folks that I've become friends with in the business. They're all working pros, like Tom Conkle, who's been on here. You'd know his face, right? I mean, I kid because this is not he does more than this, but folks like Tom who make movies, who get movies on Netflix and who make great films themselves. Yeah, he's the guy, in the red shirt on Star Trek. He's done, in the first few seconds, or he gets, some longer lines or whatever in some, and then he gets more if it's not as big a feature, whatever. But you're working, you're honing your craft. And to me, that's a beautiful thing because Darian, but he always tells the story of everybody wants to come out there and make their feature, make a name for themselves. Well, that's not what Lucas did or Spielberg did or any of those folks. They didn't bankroll everything necessarily on the first film. They created that tribe. And that tribe is what got them there. And having that tribe, and look, I don't pretend to be an actor or a director or anything, but if they ask me like, you know, what is, do you have some advice? And I'm like, look, this is the advice I hear all the time, which is get out there, make good connections, get working, find a tribe, like you said, and don't worry about making that feature and spending your grandma's credit card, to make that feature. Make some things that are more economical that can show what you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
And
mean,
hone in on your craft.
that's the story of the Duplass brothers, right? It's like, I don't know if you are familiar, if you know their
Enough.
story.
Yeah.
They their whole thing is, they made a feature back way back when they were young and dumb, and um it was unwatchable. That's their words. And I don't know what it was because it never saw the light of day.
Nobody's seen it.
Yeah. But then they made a really tiny short film that was like one take, and it was like filmed on, you know, their phone maybe, and
Yeah.
uh, and it got into Sundance, and then because it was about something that they really felt. It was about
Passionate about, right?
what?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
It was just like something people could really relate to and on like a deep emotional level, and it was sort of silly and anyway, but just like you were saying, it's like don't jump the gun and make something and spend all your money um without getting a good foundation together and really figuring out what you want to say, and I think that takes a little bit of time. I mean, but there's also you don't want to
I
go
yeah.
on too far on that
I
edge
I
of the
yeah.
spectrum where you're like a perfectionist, you never are ready.
Do it.
But
Yeah.
and then you need those people that are like, let's do it, let's get it done, and but
Right.
like bring those people into your tribe and then balance each other.
Right, and
You
if
know?
you're that person, I don't want to discourage you, at all from making that
Oh
feature
yeah.
and going for it. That's not really what I'm saying. I guess what I'm saying, and you're saying it too, is like, okay, my plan A is to go in and make a feature and, do whatever. And my plan B, ooh, I don't have a plan B. So I'm like, look, make your plan B your plan A, right? Land like, Alex Angelis did and make a career for yourself and move to the next level, and if along the way you can make that feature, sooner, do it. But you know what I mean? But like have your plan A be your plan B. I sound like a dad here, which I am. And get yourself locked in because these working pros, even, Gavin Booth that has been on the show and we do stuff with Clubhouse and I could name a bunch of other people that are just every day working in Hollywood. And I mean, I got to tell you, from this side of it, you're fucking pretty cool. I mean, The Cleansing Hour, it's a fun horror movie and you were really good in it. So like, I mean, shit, you're a star. You really are.
Thank
And
you.
I just appreciate you for even talking to me.
It's a delight.
Yes, I do need some patting on the back, right? Sure. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what lies ahead for Alex Angelis and, whatever you can disclose to us, I think.
Well, like I mentioned before, there's some things that I got to do during the pandemic, which we're still in, I guess, um,
Yeah.
that are coming to fruition. I went to Minnesota and worked with this great group of people on it's a proof of concept actually called Convergence, and it was sort of like uh, Gravity meets Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, if you can
Okay, hold on.
put those
Gravity
together.
meets wow, okay, whew. Yeah, probably like when I do this, anyway.
Yes. Well, it was this really cool role because basically, without giving too much away, there are different realities, like a bunch of them, where I'm playing the same person but in totally different circumstances.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, and there's a space element,
Nice.
and it looks
Nice.
amazing. I
Oh,
just saw it
awesome.
last week. They locked it and sending it off to Sundance, and Ben
Oh,
Enke
nice.
is the cinematographer, and it's just beautiful. Um, so I'm excited for people to see that.
I'm excited for you for people to see that because that sounds really neat. And as from a perspective, John Ardmer says Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is one of my favorites. Also, both William and Stephen love The Cleansing Hour. And yes, I love recommending that film to people. It is, it's live streaming. It's really current. I really enjoy it. The but
And it's fun to now that we're in October, it's sort of like getting a resurgence. And I'm like,
yeah,
it's spooky season. It's cleansing hour season.
well, I mean, if you could get that makeup crew to come swing by the house on the 31st, you could scare the crap
Oh
out of your
my
neighbor's
god.
kids, right?
Yeah. Adam Doherty, so talented. He's Creature Kid on Instagram. You should check him out. I'm gonna put his
Oh, yeah, let me find him and I'll put him up there. The, Creature what'd you say, Creature Kid?
feature
The,
kit. I just put it in the chat.
okay,
Um,
cool. The, yeah, but that role of different realities, same person, different
yeah,
realities,
yeah,
that's gotta be a cool role just to have,
y
like
yeah, so fun. Can't give too much away because it's short.
no, right, and, it's at I mean, shit, like, again, just the fact that, I mean, I think it's pretty freaking cool that you're in a film that is gonna be at Sundance, hopefully, you
Oh,
know what I
well,
mean? Like
they've submitted.
yes,
Fingers
right, right,
crossed.
right, yes. I'm not saying it is, I didn't, I said maybe, but
Yeah.
hopefully, definitely.
Yeah.
The, toy, 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 break a leg, everything we gotta do there
Yeah.
to get it there. But the, but, like, just having that, like playing a character who's we'll take it away from this film a little bit, but just playing a character who's the same character, but not the same character. Like, man, you're getting into layers of like, wait a minute, continuity. Who the fuck am I right now?
Yeah, and all, like, on one day. It was a really, really neat challenge. Um,
Oh, so you were shooting multiple scenes in multiple characters on the same day.
mhm,
Wow. 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 Yeah. That'd be well,
yeah,
I cannot wait to see that film. That'll be
yeah,
really cool. I'm excited about it. Um, the so what about what are you writing? Are you thinking about are you thinking about a feature? Are you thinking about another
yes.
short or where are you?
Always thinking about a feature. I I would love to make a feature version of seancing.
Yeah,
Um,
that's I was in my head. I said it
mm,
was a feature, right? Because there's a whole movie there.
yeah, it's tricky though because of the age of
Mm,
the main characters, because it's
yeah.
such a specific age, and feature films take a long time to make. So it's like, okay, so we attach our talent,
Mm,
and
yeah.
then like
You'd
years
have
go
to
by.
attach new talent. It's been long enough that those
Oh,
girls
yeah,
are
they
all too old, right?
unfortunate
Yeah.
unfortunately, yeah, they've outgrown the roles. Because I would love to work with them again on
I know, and
something
you have
else.
such great stories about meeting them and all that stuff too, so, you
Yeah,
know, um, yeah.
yeah. So that's a possibility. Um, I'm also, pitching a comedy about death
No, there you go. That's I
currently.
hey, that's no, I mean, death is funny, no question about it.
I don't know, I tend to gravitate towards that kind of thing.
No, I mean, I'm
Um,
being serious, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, some dark, funny shit, I love that, it's good stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at Dead to Me. I just I wish I had been a creator on that. Like that's exactly
It's your thing.
my aesthetic. I love it
Yeah.
so much.
Well, look, is Bearing Amber, on, YouTube and stuff? Can people just see it, or did you give me a copy? I can't remember.
It's on Vimeo.
It's on Vimeo. I mean, is it publicly accessible?
I believe it is.
You want it to
Um,
be or whatever, but I would just say to folks, you really should see that film because it really does now especially, um, that you said that, it really ties it in well for me in terms of what you like because, I mean, that epitomizes, I mean, like, 'cause, you look at that, I think if you looked at that film with the sound off, you know, you would be like, "Oh, this looks kind of like a nice, little film about some people and, like, oh, this will be cute." And then you're like, "What the whoa, what is she doing to my
yeah.
head? Wow." You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, well
yeah.
that's my jam, I think I love the intense inner life that people have during their normal day, day-to-day
Mhm. Mhm.
activities. And we all are like so weird and dark and I mean, I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe not everybody is as dark as I am, but But I think so. Um,
Yeah, I think so too. I think so
like
too.
inside of our heads while we're like just, getting on with it. And I think
Right.
that's so fascinating and we can all connect about that. So
I like that. I do, my subconscious is an asshole, actually, and, my inner voice screw my inner voice. What a jerk. But I do, I like that because we have these deep things, inside that are just, they're primal, some of them, right? Fear of the dark, spiders, these things are kind of hardwired some ways, into our DNA. So I think the relief, the comic relief, I mean, I think Shakespeare, I think um, he made something like, Hamlet, and he made another thing. They made it into a movie. You can't say the name of it, but it rhymes with
the Scottish play.
uh, the Scottish play. Yes,
Yeah.
and like like some deep dark shit in there, man. Like that's the good stuff. You know what I mean? You can't get that blood out of your hands. Is it there or not? Like yeah, I would. Ooh, I cannot. Yeah, let's make. Hey, listen. There are people that occasionally watch this program that know people that might know people that actually make and fund films. So reach out to your friends because, Alex Angelis here's got a pitch for you, and I got a pitch for you because I want to see a film like that come from you because I know from seeing your work that you could do it, and that would be super cool. That would be
Yeah,
super
that would be super
cool.
cool.
Yeah, that would be great. And I'll tell you, the it's a lot easier in terms of make a feature today in a lot of ways than it would have been 20 years ago because of the availability of the technology and everything and the fact that you don't need. In fact, when I was in film school, um I was hanging out with a friend, and she worked at a company called Editel. Now they might still be around. I thought they got bought out, but Editel in Chicago had the first like 5 bays of film to video. So you would edit on video, and then they would take the film, and splice it and everything into film, right? But the very first movie they did that on, where they shot it on film but edited it digitally, was Home Alone. And that editing bay, I remember I'm like, what did all that stuff cost? And she's like, $2.5 million. That's two and a half 1980 dollars. That's 15 or 20 million by today.
Yeah.
This this is just my iPhone 10, and with Splice, man, I could make Home Alone. You know what I mean? I'm not Chris Columbus, excuse me, and I have met Chris a couple of times because he lives in the Chicago area. But the yeah, like it's crazy, what you can do. I made a couple of fun little clips for you, all on all on Splice, all on the phone. I'm not saying whether they're good or not, but it's quick, and you can do just about anything with these things. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's incredible. It's
it's there.
democratized the creative space in a lot of ways.
Yeah, well, I was just talking about that the other day as well, the democratization of Hollywood. We were talking about it with the CTO of Filmic Pro, and I mean, that's actually kind of Filmic's philosophy, not just to make an app that filmmakers can use, but to make an app that filmmakers around the world can have access to and make movies that can change, the world and accessibility, access. And we were talking about the union a little bit, but I also want to say that there's a hell of a long way to go with women filmmakers or people that identify as other than white men, filmmakers. We have a long way to go, but I also am so excited to see that work that's coming out, from all kinds of filmmakers now because it's just it's amazing um what
Yeah,
we're seeing coming out these days.
I agree. You know, we the last time I went to Sundance, I think they had over 50% of the feature film directors were women.
Mm.
And, mostly it was, oh, that's amazing. Like, of course, that's how it should be. And then there was this like obnoxious contingency of people that were like, and the films are, like, really good this year. I'm like, "Why don't sound so surprised." Come on.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was just talking to um, Dania Denise, who I literally met through that story I was telling, and yeah, that whole thing about so there used to be this thing in the '70s. It was called women's art, but that was a woman's art movement. I mean, the women were calling it women's art because it's just like you won't let us be art. So screw you. We'll be women's art. But then eventually the women are just art again. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah,
the way that it should be. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's just yeah, it's just fucking movies. Doesn't matter who directed the damn thing. Did you like it? You know what I
right?
mean? I mean, did you like it?
Yeah, it's
Oh, it
it's not like, "Oh, that's a good movie for a female director." It's like
exactly.
it's just
Right.
a
Right.
great movie.
Like, yeah, I mean, what do you men directors I mean, I guess we do have an extra appendage, but I don't think that has anything to do with their ability to make a film. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
it
there's
should
really
not. Should
although I
not.
think sometimes it might get in the way of making a
Yes.
movie occasionally.
Yeah.
All right. All you male filmmakers, I love you. Don't worry. You're all good too. But
But yeah,
I
there's no men hating.
No, 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 no. No men hating it. No men hating at all. So let me ask you this too. Because you do have a husband that is in the business, right? And I see that you're probably looking at him right there. The
He's being a
I
creeper.
Well, when is he gonna come on the show with us sometime? You know what I mean? We got to talk about that dynamic between, acting families and all of that stuff. But the yeah, what like I saw again, this is why you need a tribe because somebody would have been able to look this up, so I'm not so embarrassed. But I remember a scene in one of your films with the two of you, and you're in the bathroom, and
Yeah.
there's a pretty dramatic scene. And like, what's it like taking home the work and like living with another actor? Because actors are kind of quirky, you know.
Yeah. That movie was an engagement,
Mhm.
and, it was the first thing that I filmed, like, as, like, not an actor, that I wrote it, and I mean, I acted in it too, but it was, like,
Right.
something that I made, and, that yeah, I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, don't whatever you do, don't date an actress." Mostly it's actresses. But don't date an actor, don't and like actors shouldn't date each other, but come on. Of course it's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, you're
Because
kissing each other half the day, making a movie, just, whatever. That
I
doesn't do it,
mean,
but
right?
yeah.
But also because you're put into these vulnerable situations. I mean, every role you play, you have to open yourself up, um and being open is how you let people in. And so those like intimate connections are made. Um and for us, it was a lot of art imitating life and vice versa. I think it's so interesting how it happens. Because it was called engagement, and then like I think 6 months later he proposed.
Ah, okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, we got a lot of positive feedback about that scene in particular
Mhm.
because it just people were like, "Oh, that felt so natural," like, and that was just like maybe verbatim a conversation we had. I mean, not because we weren't engaged at the time, but like that's just
Right.
how we talk to each other, and
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
great when you have uh people that are we've known each other for so long,
That
and then
connected
you
that
can
well. Yeah.
yeah, and then as a writer, I think a lot of
We
what
write to your strengths.
well, yeah, but a lot of what people find the most interesting is just like what you notice about real life. At least I
Mm.
do.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, it's not
Yes, it does. It
coming up
does.
with like this completely manufactured reality
Hey,
and
Trevor.
like these are the very crafted things that people say. I mean, that's awesome too. But it's like just being able to point out like that's interesting and then you write it down. Like
Mhm.
you
And those
just steal
Mhm.
from
Well, and
reality.
you have to add so much depth to, I mean, backstory with the character and, there's no moment in a film that, you know I mean, yes, you can have a moment that can kind of linger and be there, but I mean, it's all planned for, you know what I mean? Like, you have to have the intimate details in there, for the people to at least understand what's going on, and then they can expand beyond it. But what would be the everyday things, um, in a movie if that stuff is not right or if it's not there. You know what I mean? Like, that's noticeable. You have no idea if the dialogue of the film is necessarily going the wrong direction because you don't necessarily know where it's going to go. But man, if the small details and the intimate things between the actors, if that's not going well, you can feel the heat when an actor and an actress, are doing
The
it well
chemistry.
professionally, and you can feel it when they're not hitting their marks with each other. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think um that's the key. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love, Marvel movies and, those big box office plot
sure.
driven stuff, big high concept. But what really gets me is the character driven, like connecting two souls.
Mhm,
and
mhm,
and the
mhm.
little quirks that happen like when people know each other and when you as two actors who are just like meeting on set are able to fool you into thinking that
Mhm.
they've known each other for years and they love each other. I mean, that's the best.
Yeah, and I mean, look, that's, that's a skill, that, um, I'm sure, to an extent you can learn. I mean, there's different styles of acting and you know what I mean, and ways to getting to yourself to that point and all of that. But yeah, that's the stuff that just amazes me about actors and acting because you're like, yeah, like even the first day that you don't necessarily like, the it's like, yeah, those people they may have never met before and they're, starring in a film together. Now the bonding thing though is really cool too because I'm sure I would think after all of those films, when they're done, it's just you have a whole new group of people that are, gonna weave in and out of your life that you've become close to and everything. So it's got to be there's a lot of joy in that, I'm sure as well.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, who said it? Somebody famous said that like a film crew, cast and crew is like your best friends that you'll never see again.
Yeah,
um,
it's
it's
like
so
going to
true.
camp
Yeah,
right? You bond with these people deeply and then you never see them again. Well, in your
yeah.
case, you did.
There were a few that you
Well,
like
I meant
hold
the
up.
one you married. I was just
Yeah,
having
yeah.
fun.
But we lived in the same hometown. It was easier.
Yeah,
Um,
so there
but
you
like
go.
when you all gather in Canada and from everywhere, it's harder. Um, but every once in a while, you get one that like you get to keep.
You
Um,
get to keep and
but
stick
but the
around. Yeah.
but the bond doesn't go away. Like I feel like I can call up, anybody that I've worked with and be like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like even years later, it is that camp feeling for sure.
Yeah, right, it keeps going. Hey, and by the way, I didn't do my demarcation at 1 hour, so I'm gonna do it now. We can keep talking for a little bit, but when you're ready, you know what I mean? We can go too, but I do wanna say that, because 'cause I'll see if I can squeeze and edit out 4 minutes somewhere to get this under an hour for Instagram. We'll figure it out. But,
Okay.
the this has been Red Mac Live. I'm with Alex Angelis, and appreciate you for watching very much. I'm going to say peace be with you and namaste. But Alex, do you have a closing thought for us this evening?
A closing thought. Oh my.
Anything, you know?
Um,
Just thanks for coming, whatever.
yeah, thanks for watching and Be kind to each other.
Good. I threw you under the bus here just by making you do that. But yes, so there we go. Demarcation. Okay, now it's after party time. Get your booze out. But when you're um when you're really trying to like just get away from all of the stuff and all of the hustle and bustle of Hollywood and acting, like, what's your thing? Do you like to camp? Do you like to, shop? Like, like, what's just a little bit of the everyday Alex Angelis?
I do like to camp. I love going out to nature. Uh, we are from a town that is really close to Big Sur. Do you know that
Mhm,
area?
mhm, mhm.
And I never get tired of going out there. It's such a beautiful getaway, not least because there's no cell service.
Mm, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
but like you just go into the trees and the smell of the ponderosa pine and the redwoods and yeah, that's what I like to do to get away. And but thankfully in LA there are places you can go. Um, like it's such a huge sprawling city, but like thank goodness for Griffith Park. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was
Um,
just gonna say, there's Griffith Park that actually has its own cougar. That occasionally snatches somebody's dog or something, but that lives in Griffith Park more or less, or did up until a couple of years ago. But yeah, it's
yeah,
it's very beautiful.
yeah. Um, so yeah, and then beyond just like being able to walk out into the nature that's nearby, I love traveling. This uh, not being able to travel or not feeling safe
Mhm.
um, to do that over the past couple of years has been a bummer. And I
A
am very
bummer.
lucky in that I've gotten to travel a lot for my, well, I guess not so young age, but I did a, but I have always been lucky enough to like either travel for work and then be able to explore or just be able to go visit friends in different parts of the world and that's just like such a blessing.
I've had a lot of fun with, telling people lately that I, went from this guy with I had a whole different life, and I have been in and out of entertainment in my life too, but, this really obscure guy on Periscope to a pretty much just as obscure guy on Haps, but just a little less. But my phone, my Apple, used to have, like, on the world time or world time that I needed to know, it just had Chicago and New York and Cupertino or whatever. And now it's literally Tehran, Helsinki. I have,
Yeah.
like, 11 different cities on there that I'm pretty much regularly, "Okay, shit, what time is it in Paris?" You know what I mean? "What time is it in Japan?" And make some calls to some friends and stuff, and it's like, I can't wait until we can travel, and I can, the 3 new close friends that I have in Europe, we can all meet somewhere or whatever. I miss that so much.
Yeah.
The furthest I'd gone from the house, other than on a bike ride on the lakefront, yes, I did ride, like, 35 miles in one direction away from home, but realistically, it was when I flew out to LA in July, and that was just so weird, like, because I had to take the trip out to the airport and, like, then be on the plane, and we had to wear the mask and all that stuff, but it was like, my god, like, I have been stuck, in basically one place, and it was so glorious just to get to LA, just for to be in a different spot. So,
Yeah.
I hope
And
you do get to keep traveling for work at least because, oh, it's
yeah,
so nice to be other places.
it's so great and especially while working um not only is being on location great because everybody is usually not within their normal lives, so there's a lot of time to just be social because nobody has any other plans, you know what I mean? So you get
Yeah.
to really have that camp feel and explore a new place and you're there for a while and it's like you sort of get immersed in a new culture
Mhm.
and that's just so cool. I love having the different perspective and I I know not everybody can travel, and I feel like so grateful
Mhm.
that that's part of my life and part of my career. It's just
Right.
the best.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're just, like, super fucking successful, and I mean that in the sense of working every day as an actress. I think it's just awesome. I mean, there are a lot of, uh, young people, people of all ages that, love film and wanna, get into it, and like I said, I think it'd be fun to have you talk about some of this stuff sometime with Darian's crew, but what is if somebody were like my daughter, oh my gosh. So she's at, I'm not going to say the name of the school, but she's in Manhattan. And, you know, we took her to Manhattan when she was uh, 5 the first time. When we went, she was 8. The second time, she was hooked. You know what I mean? Like, because we went to MoMA, we went everywhere, all over the city, and it just gets into you, right? New York just kind of gets into your body.
It
And so
does.
there she's, yeah, and she's there for school now. And I tell her almost every time I talk to her, like, have you made some new connections? And she is. She's making connections because I said, I know you wanna work and live in New York or maybe Paris. Make connections in Paris, make connections in New York. Do not come home. You know what I mean? Go, see the world, work in the world. If you wanna come back to Chicago someday or once in a while to say hi, that's fine. But I will never miss you if I know that you're where you wanna be and do what and do what you wanna do. So just having that ability to be able to do that, I think Alex, is something that I look at it in this way of, you let us see that through your films and being able to represent that through your filmmaking, I think is a beautiful thing. It gets a little dicey like that when we try to take what's great about living in a first world country and, having this kind of upper middle class to middle class life that kind of people live here and say, I want to take that and deliver it, to the world by you seeing what I'm doing. I get that. But there is this thing that you can give back in your films and in your filmmaking, especially with seancing and films like that brings so much, just joy and just being able to be in those young ladies' heads with them, though it's your head that wrote it, you know what I mean? And just be swept away and not think about the rent or anything, even if it's just for a few minutes. I mean, that's one of the joys I think of filmmaking. And you get to do
Yeah.
that every day.
I'm really glad that that comes across because, I do have yeah, white middle class guilt, I guess.
Right?
So
Yeah.
obnoxious. Uh, as a creator, and even though I'm a woman and that's like an underrepresented group in industry, I am still white and middle class and very, um, privileged. And
Right.
what my perspective is, can my fear is that it's just like an oversaturated kind of demographic, but what I hope comes through and what my intention is to get to that morsel of truth about the feelings and the truth that's inside of us, no matter where we come from and what our life experiences have been. Because even the most fortunate of people has uh, insecurity, goes
Yeah.
through pain, um, and experiences longing and uh, growing pains, and uh,
Being
hopefully
human.
that can shine through and mean something to people.
Well, bringing people, I think so, and it does, and bringing people, to points of of emotional interest without, like, dragging in there, you know what I mean? But letting them get there with you, that's really good, filmmaking. Not that a great score by Hans Zimmer shouldn't drag you in somewhere, because it should, because that's what it's designed to
Yes,
do.
please drag me in.
Yes, exactly. But I do feel that idea of, like, even my platform, for me, it's, look, I'm kind of good at interviewing people, and people are like, "Well, why are your interviews good?" I'm like, "Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious. I have good guests, and what I'm really good at is finding good people to have on the show. You know, that's actually where my talent is, not necessarily being the host, but
Mhm.
delivering a platform to people where then I can step aside and let, somebody else, have my platform, or, that is, like Olivia Robinson, or we had some women on the other day that are Latina filmmakers, very underrepresented in Hollywood, and just to be able to have that discussion over an hour. We might have gone for 2, an hour and a half in depth. That, look, I know I'm not a TED talk, and I know I'm not, some big deal thing, but you rarely get to spend an hour or more talking in depth about underrepresentation in Hollywood with Latina screenwriters and filmmakers. I don't think that happens every day. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of podcasts and stuff, but that's, to me, what I love about being able to do this, is bringing voices, whether it's a woman director or something. Look, the white middle-aged guy's already talking too much. That's what makes me not a good host sometimes, but I like to talk. But but I mean, it really is, I mean, I cannot represent anybody but myself. And the best that I can do is to try to, to do everything, competently, and from a good place, and listen, right, to what other people, are doing, and what they, what's interesting to them. But, yeah, I mean, you've got stories to tell, and they're great stories, and I'm really looking forward to those as they come. I am super 100% hoping to win the lottery so I can finance your feature, and, but I gotta
Yeah.
play to win.
Oh,
Um,
we were supposed to I should have bought a lottery ticket today. In
is it
California,
big?
it's very big, and nobody had
I
won
could
it yet. Oh, well.
I could see it in LA. Like, what's that line for? Oh, future filmmakers. What are they doing? Buying lottery tickets.
It was like 650,000,000.
Oh,
Uh,
shit.
I could do
You
some
could
stuff with that,
you could do some damage. You could do some damage. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck. Just the special effects alone that you might not even need, that you could afford, would be fabulous.
Just, like, add 'em in, it's, like, so unnecessary.
Right. We're using the same, Unreal Engine as in Mandalorian. We don't need it, but we are.
It's just an intimate
Hey,
character drama, but,
maybe
we
we
got
could bring the young ladies back with enough money, you know what I mean? That we could, you know
time travel.
Yeah, right? Or even just reinvent them in the computer, you know what
Oh
I
my
mean? Like,
god.
that's what I'm always waiting for. It's like, Alix Angelis is the biggest film star in 27, 24, because they saw your work in the cleansing hour. They're like, "Ooh, we're gonna reanimate her," you know?
Oh my god. They have done that with some people, right? Like,
They do. Oh, no, they do. That's the whole, like, Facetune stuff used in a
yeah,
kind of a good way. I mean, I don't know, like, licensing, it gets weird. Like,
it
having
does.
John Wayne, like, come and be like a character or something in a movie, forget all the licensing stuff. It's like, wait a minute, who is that? Right? Because, yes, John Wayne is an iconic figure in film, but, like, it just, to me, like, I don't know, like, I don't think you can bring somebody. I know they do, you know what I mean? If it's Alec Guinness and he's already died and it's for a few seconds, but they will do it. They will bring back, the licensing will come together with some famous actor at some point in the future, and their family will be like, "Sure, go ahead,
Yeah, but
be XYZ."
it's so weird because I mean, not only from an audience standpoint that you can it's not a human, it's not real.
Right.
Oh, I mean, it can kind of fool you for short bursts, but like it's kind of like putting words into somebody's mouth. Like you take somebody that has such a legacy and then
Right.
make them behave in ways that they never did and perform. It's not like whose performance is that? It's so
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, even if you could, shot by shot, word by word, do True Grit again or something, you know what I mean? Like, that, like, it's like, yeah, I don't know, it's just weird. The tech is all very strange. Look, that says they brought back Peter Cushing in Rogue One of these days. I You can come back whenever you want, and,
Thank you.
if there's anything you want to promote or, talk about, please, I'm always available. And if there's, like anybody else you want us to know about, you know,
Yeah.
um, that or if there's somebody else that that you think would have a fun time on the show, send them my way because it's just a blast to be able to talk to filmmakers. And I mean, it's like a little dream here. So I really enjoy it.
Yeah. I do have somebody that I'd like to send your way. So I
Woohoo!
will.
Yay. Awesome. Awesome. We'll talk. Well, listen, I just have enjoyed myself tremendously. Um, just huge thanks to you and everything you've done. Every time you've made yourself available to do this program, it's just been a blast. And like I said, I you know, I can't wait to do the next bit of work with you and talk about what you're working on. It's going to be a lot of fun. We didn't get to mention the cat, but I mean, we'll try for next time because I know the cat makes the Instagram once in a while. So,
Oh yeah. He's so photogenic. He's so pretty.
yes, yes. And yeah, just thank you so much, Alex. This has just been a blast. Seriously, I had a good Monday today, but I had a great Monday after this.
Yay. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And folks, listen, um, the cleansing hour, seancing, go to alexangelis.com. Follow her Instagram so you know what's going on coming up in the future. And stick with Alex Angelis because she's an amazing talent in Hollywood. And I guarantee you a great time getting to watch Alex do her stuff. We'll see you soon. This has been the big interview. My name is Revolution McKinnis. Yeah, seriously. $25 for 3 months. You're going to get these awesome headphones. And the reason that I'm plugging those because I've been trying to get somebody for a while to sponsor me and I've been trying different ones, but these things are perfect for live streamers and I know everything about them. So hit me up folks, even if you just have questions. Thanks again, Alex. We will see you soon. In fact, I'll see you for 30 seconds after this ends and I'm going to say peace be with you and namaste.
Always a pleasure.